started working when I was in school, and that was my first film. But I think properly, like when I started doing my South films, I must have just passed my 10th grade. And yeah, I think I was still figuring out whether this is something I can pursue for a lifetime, because I'm not from the film industry, so I had no I had literally no mentor, I had no guiding force. I did not know how it would go. So I think also because my family, like there are a lot of doctors in my family, there are lots of they're all very, very highly educated. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll focus on my studies also, and if this works out, then that would be the best thing. And to be honest, like once work took off, which was around when I was around 17 years old, I had literally no time to even continue my education, which became like, it was a hard decision I had to make at that point in time in my life, because I really wanted to study. At the same time, I was doing something that I really loved, and I could vision myself doing it for the rest of my life. So I think it was a very conscious decision. So I studied till my 12th grade, and thereafter I just couldn't continue studies. And I was a good student. I was one of those strange people who like to study. But then I clearly loved to be in front of the camera a lot more. So I made a choice at that point in time. But I think now is a great time. Yeah, you can do everything you want to do. You can study. You can there's no age for anything. There's no time for anything. So it's up to you where you want to invest your energy and time. And the moment you make up your mind, this is what you want to do, I think we have a lot more freedom to do it just because of sheer technology that exists. Strangely, when I started working, I think I was a lot more secure. I was a lot more confident. I was a lot more. I didn't really care of what people thought of me. And I think that's probably the reason I could survive. Although I was so young and I was in an industry where I didn't even speak the language, and I was working with people much older than me at that point of time. It didn't daunt me at all. I was just too much into trying to just be in front of the camera, do my job. Like that was so much of my energy that what people were thinking, what they perceived of me, whether it was right or wrong, I was really not processing that at all. I think probably after I got success and I got when I started, people started liking my work, is when I started getting more critical of myself and I started being more conscious of what I was doing. Versus when I started off. So actually that phase was much easier. Of course, like making choices was difficult because I didn't know who was who. Like in the South Indian film industry also, I didn't know what was the body of work that the person has done. So for me, that was research, like to understand why this film is good, why is this film liked by people, or this maker liked by people, or these actors liked by people, just to kind of understand that. Yeah. Because that's how you make choices, right? Whether you want to do this, you don't want to do this. So first you have to figure out what kind of an industry you're working in. So for me, the first 5-6 years of my career was just kind of exploring and understanding. So I used to watch a lot of South Indian channels on TV because I was just trying to understand what kind of music do they like, what kind of,
your research.
Yeah, it was basically research for me, and also knowing who is who, because I wasn't exposed to that cinema as growing up as a kid. So that actually also helped me learning the language, because just sheerly watching TV, right? So you're picking up the language while you're hearing it. And I was at quite like one of those, anyway you're in that studious age. Yeah. So, everything becomes like a sponge. You grasp a new language much easily. I think for me, a major transition as a person and as an actor was when I had done a lot of South Indian films and I had a lot of success and a lot of acclaim critically and commercially. And then I was transitioning or trying to do Hindi films because that's what I grew up on.
Correct.
And theoretically those choices were, I think, were good choices. But when it actually came on screen, it had completely, gone wrong. And it was hard to see people's reaction being so negative about it. But the thing was, I knew that they were right. Like, I didn't like those films myself either. So there was just, I knew it was a wrong decision. But soon enough, I think, which also kind of made me more aware of the duality of things in life and in the movies, is that right after that is when I got my most, challenging and the most creatively satisfying on-screen experience, and that was Bahubali. So it was just so fast, like, you know, and I like to say that, you know, the failure is not personal, it's a film failing. You know, unfortunately, in our job, especially as actors, the failure or success becomes extremely personal. It's not like you're having a bad day at work. You know, it's not like for any other person, it's like, oh, you know, I made a boo-boo at work, which is fine, which everyone does, and, you know, everyone has, you know, not such good days and has, you know, good days at work. So I think I learned how to take the, you know, the failure of the film and then a success of a film to this extent. Like, so when Bahubali happened, it was like some kind of a explosion has happened, because
The love that you got.
the love that I got was unprecedented for me also, because I hadn't seen that in the South either. So, you know, like people like holding on to you on the roads, and they're like, how did that waterfall happen? You know, like people were so curious about this world that was created. So, so I think that phase of my life was just too much was going on. Too much. So I had to just like kind of, and I think I grew up really fast in that phase, because a lot of my ideologies changed while I was in that process of my life. So many things happening around the world. You'll have to talk about things that matter to you, and of course the ones that you want to make a stand.
Thanks for watching. Here are other 2 videos, you can watch them as well. And if you haven't yet subscribed my channel, please subscribe it and hit the bell icon for my upcoming videos, and share these all videos among your friends.